All right, we are live. What's up? What's up? What's up, everybody?
Hey.
Welcome to the show. Two live crew. What's up, y'all?
What's
Represent,
happening?
you
Yeah.
know,
What's happening?
Detroit, what? Yaktown, Pontiac, where you at?
What?
You
Yeah.
know,
Houston,
What up,
Texas. What's
though?
happening? Let's go. Yeah.
Hey,
Texas
Detroit,
in this
Texan.
piece. But we're gonna go ahead and get started. Let me introduce the crew to you real quick. Y'all all know Trixie. What's going on,
What's up?
Trixie?
What's up, though? Not
Hey,
what's up, though.
hey,
It's
hey,
what up, though.
hey.
Hey,
Oh, what's
y'all.
up? We got a crew member checking in. What up? What up? What up? Hey, N6, how you
First
doing,
lady.
sir?
I'm doing good today. I'm doing great.
Okay, good to hear from you. And we have a special guest, special. Um, how can I introduce you with the
Give her a Steve Harvey introduction.
so when it comes to horror movie guys, the crew are a bunch of scary Marys. Okay? We tend to need help in this era because we not really, I don't know about sticks, but as you see, First Lady decided that
This
she was
wasn't for
not even
her.
going to review the film today. So we brought on a special guest, someone I met at the Trinity Film Festival a couple years back, who blew the game up with her short film Knock Knock, where here's a
Yeah.
picture. Zoe did a review, 500,000 views. And I'm just gonna play a little bit so you can see how he reacted to it.
Oh, oh, not the children.
So that's enough. Because I don't know if I picked a good spot or whatever, but yes, she out here terrifying the people. So when we
Right.
do something like them, I asked her to come on. Y'all welcome Kaniki Jones.
Jonas Jones.
Yeah,
That's
thank you
awesome.
so much for coming by. So I titled this particular episode of the Two Lives Crew, I titled it Them Movie Review plus Dante Williams. Are you traumatized yet? So yeah, that was some of the criticism around this movie. Like it was
Traumatized.
what did they call it? Trauma porn for black people or whatever. But I'm like, we live in this everyday life. I don't see how this is trauma porn. The trauma porn is what we're seeing that are being captured on cell phone devices and stuff like that. So
Exactly.
did you guys want to do the movie first or talk about that first? I feel like they relate. And so another incident that happened. Hold on, I'm gonna pull that up. I'll pull up this other incident. But Kaniki, while I do that, because I'm still trying, just tell us a little bit about yourself and all that good stuff while I pull this up.
Okay. I'm from Detroit.
Yes.
That's the first thing.
313.
313 representing. Had my numbers, my cell phone number since what? Since cell phones came out. Oh, nah. Sprint was doing that. Had free nights and weekends. Oh.
Don't call me before 7 or 9.
Right. Between the hours.
Nights and weekends. Let's go.
7 p.m. years old. So yeah, my 313 is real old school. But so I'm from Detroit. I got my undergraduate at Wayne State in theater, so I acted a little bit. Yeah, Wayne State, Warrior, Wayne Higher.
Yeah.
So what my husband says. And so
Warrior. Sorry.
Warrior. AK, what did we used to be before? We were something
Tartars.
Tartars.
Yeah.
Yep.
A world of opportunity.
I'm not that old, so I'm not part of
Me
the old.
neither. I came in, but they changed it. So
Um, yeah, so Wayne State, went to Specs High for a bit before Wayne State.
Okay.
So that's when it was the School of Broadcast.
That's where I got my start.
Media. Oh, hey, that was the one. That was how it all kind of.
Shoot,
That was
that
the
was
dream.
almost 20 years ago. Okay.
Girl,
mhm,
at the same time, then.
mhm.
So yeah, so I did that for a bit, and then I worked on the scene as an actor. And then I went to film school at Florida
Okay.
State a few years ago, and did some directing and did the 3 short films at my time there. And Knock Knock was my thesis piece, and that thesis piece was inspired by a Detroit story. The mom, Michelle Blair, that kind of haunted my spirit, who murdered 2 of her 4 children, who were not found for many, many years, in the deep freezer of her home while she was babysitting other kids. So that kind of was the inspiration. And the question that I kept asking myself was how do you live in a housing project where clearly what's happening next door? And you don't, and the torment of those children weren't discovered for 2 years. So so that's just a little bit about me.
All right.
Yeah.
Well,
All right.
you know what? The crazy thing is, I find stuff and I get like obsessed with it. So that was one of the things I was obsessed with. That Michelle Blair story. Like I was reading all of the articles, like the court proceedings. Like I went down a complete rabbit hole one night on YouTube. Like I couldn't understand it, couldn't wrap my head around it. So now that when Tanya brought that to us, the Knock Knock, I was like, wow, it just you did that, sis, you did that. But it was just, it's mind blowing. I can't understand where this woman's head was. Like this is crazy. But you did a great job on that. And you know, this stuff we about to get into tonight.
Yes.
Baby.
Yeah, I think it further like explores what we're gonna watch tonight. It's just the reality of the horror that we exist in. Do you know? Like hence, you know, the Duante
right back.
Situation that's happening. It's just been consecutive throughout the years, throughout the centuries. The torment. So that's, I think that's why horror is, you know, resonates so much.
Right.
And so this isn't the I brought up the wrong one. I wanted to show another dang. I let you do all of that setup and then still didn't put the right graphic up. Man, I feel like I have some cognitive challenges.
This night.
So this is how I felt like how not a YouTuber, but just somebody on Facebook, how they related the film to today's situation. So this one, I'm gonna pull it up. It was kind of like, you're in the wrong neighborhood, mother effer. And then, so the response that he put, the next picture was, let me see if it'll go. Do you guys see the change? So this is the response when you get that. And of course, this young man didn't do anything like that. But, you know, now there was a lot of people in that guy's front yard dealing with that issue. So, this young black man in the wrong neighborhood at the wrong time. So I kind of like, I feel like I don't want to, I don't know. I'll stop there. Cut myself off mid-sentence.
That's
Kaniki.
What up?
Jones.
Jones.
Yeah.
I mean, I went from like terrified because that whole figure, it's a lot to digest in this, but
it was a lot to digest in this series, but I don't feel like it was really scary.
No,
like at some point I was more scared of what the angry white mob would do versus the evil.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I went from scared to completely furious, and I mean furious, like mad as furious. I was.
I don't feel like I got
so
mad.
mad.
I was kind of appreciative. I felt like this type of horror movie, the horror should have came out years ago. Like it's late to the party. Like
yeah, but that's what I'm saying. It just
in.
made me mad the way that they were doing this is where I went ballistic when it was the preacher's story. And I feel like I'm going.
That was a hard episode. Yeah.
That's where I went. I just was like, man, I'm side-eyeing everybody now. Like complete side-eye.
Like, but that was like episode 9, right?
Yeah, that was.
So you just started side-eyeing everybody after episode.
No. But that really.
Okay.
That put the nail in the coffin or whatever you want to call it. Like I just couldn't. I was like, this is some complete.
But it all made it make sense.
Yeah,
why the area was haunted. You know?
And I'm like, at the same time, I really believe some stuff like this went down. No lie.
Like with the preacher, some stuff went down, or with some like the grave being haunted,
all of it.
The land.
All of it. The preacher, the covenant that these people then set up, and we'll take it
definitely
on.
the redlining stuff went down.
Heck
I mean, when I thought about like, because my first episode was episode 10. I don't know, maybe somebody in my house had like watched it already.
Tell us about that, Jones.
So I was so confused because my husband is like all about not watching things in order, and I hate it. I'm like, no, you need to know.
Right.
So I just happened to press play, and it was episode after, because the whole time I'm confused, like, what the fuck is going on? What is so confused. Right. And so then I was like, oh damn. It's over. So now I'm filling in all the pieces as I watch it, because I was really frustrated. I thought it was kind of like jarring and out of order, and it still was very jarring, kind of out of order and weird. But I thought about a book I read in undergraduate at community college was The Grapes of Wrath, right? So, and it was talking about the migration, and the suffering on the way to the promised land, in a sense, to the West, and so, and it's lower class people and the suffering that they went through. And so even the suffering that happens when what is the president that gave the freaking Native Americans the dirty clothes, like all of the blood, the bad blood that has spilled in the deserts, on our way to the West, right? So we think there's freedom for Black people. We think that Native Americans are free and they have the land. All of that is haunted. All, like when you just said, like, I believe it happened. Like all of this blood, this American soil is just so
stained.
Great.
That's the word. It's so
it is.
And so I can see how it's like, well, what the fuck do this dang on preacher got to do? Why is this guy haunting? Where is he coming from? But also, he's coming from a place. They were coming from a situation, like they were coming from not just the regular Southern horrors that were happening. But she had just lost her baby. Like maybe if you think about it, the time had just passed. Like he got the call. So she didn't even deal with that trauma.
Right.
Before moving on to the next trauma.
Right.
I just but then it's like you said, Tanya, that a lot of people are saying is trauma porn. But what is horror? You know what I'm saying? Like when we think about horror, I don't know if it's trauma porn necessarily, because they try to, sometimes it's just straight horror, gore. Like I'm going to chop your head off and make
Yeah.
my head suck my dick. Like there are horror
Right.
movies that show that, but that's true story. You know, like
Right.
that's happened in somebody's life,
Right.
and there's only a minimum amount of people or minimal amount of people who've experienced that, right? But we are a collective of Black people who have experienced this trauma together. But what about the people who do watch horror, where they can be trauma induced as well,
Right.
because their parents have been murdered. Their whole family has been, you know, all of the Jeffrey Dahmers in the world. Like that has affected those people. So I mean, if we want to start talking, don't watch horror because it's trauma inducing. That's all.
Yeah. To me, it's different pieces of horror. Okay, so you got the Freddy Krueger, the Jason, all of that. I get that, but that's fiction. That's not real. You know what I'm saying? Not that somebody couldn't become a crazy lunatic and killing up people, but I'm saying that's not likely to happen.
Yeah.
So the way that it happens in the movies with that's one thing. The other thing to me, which is more intense to me, is things that happen, the paranormal, the spiritual things that happen in the spirit, because I know that that's real, and I know that there's a spirit realm. So those type of things are disturbing to me sometimes. Like I'm not saying this was I'm not traumatized by it. I'm more angered by it, because it's just like, who do you think your stinking dirty body, who are you? You came from the dirt just like everybody else. Okay, just because you're intimidated by us for whatever reason, that's not it's not our job to make you feel good. Just because you're intimidated by us, then you want to try to dominate, and you can never let us get to this point. You can maybe this point, but never up here. Like, why you just can't let us be great? But what I liked about the couple in here, they were not the regular. I mean, they had their moments, especially the husband, because he had to, he had to get a grip with some stuff. But they were not like the back down type, especially the wife. She like, what? I'll slap you in the street in front of everybody because you talking crazy to me.
When she came out with the gun in front of everybody, I was
she
like,
came
oh my
out with
God,
the gun, like, so what y'all want to do? So you want to hang little pickaninny dolls and Aunt Jemima dolls on my...
And they left them dolls up way too long.
They showed it. You want to burn stuff into my grass, and for some reason, like and then this is another thing that I thought of. I was like, everybody is dealing with their own demon in this. The mother, she got the black hat guy. The father, he got Mr. Bojangles, or whatever you call that thing he is. Then the little girl, see, in that one, the little girl,
Miss Vera,
that one is the most, Miss Vera, that was the most disturbing to me, because she just looked really, I don't know. Then the other girl, now I knew when she went to that office, and that's another thing I'm gonna say, when she had to leave the class. Okay, they were making fun of her. The teacher gonna say, go to the office. I mean, she wrote down, you calling it a distraction. Okay, teacher, you need the dog crap smacked out of you, and you need to control this class.
But that's the way it was. That's the way it is.
I know. But when she got to that office, I was like, something ain't right with this little girl. So I didn't really realize what it was altogether. I thought she was trying to like set her up and stuff.
Her person, like her little demon, being a white girl dealing with the issues of being black, and how she wished she was white. Like that was pretty deep.
That's something that we know, but we don't get to see too much in a movie, or as Barry talked about. And I just hope that people actually catch that, because at first I didn't know what her demon was going to be, because hers was the one that was the most up in the air. I'm like, what? I thought, like you said, T, I thought it was a setup, but then when you see what it was, I was like, oh, this is more of an inner self. which it's
Yeah.
going to she basically was going to harm herself instead of the rest of those other demons were going to
Right.
set people up, and they actually could harm
Right.
the father, the other daughter, and the wife and the mother.
Right.
So I didn't know where it was going until like episode 7 no
And
eight before the preacher one. So
tell
yeah.
me this, guys. Okay, the lady, the old white lady at the beginning, the one that did that to her baby, which I could at that part, I
Ooh.
wish I could just wring that woman's neck so
Ooh.
bad. And I was hoping so bad. I was like, I hope she was able to get some type of revenge on them, but she really did. But anyway, was that the same cast of people that were the when she had to go to the institution? The doctor, I don't know, for some reason I was like, is that
I
the
don't think
lady?
No, it was a different
And
woman.
then that
so, no.
man, the orderly guy, I was
Yeah.
like, is that the one that was the man that was holding her down at the
Mm-hmm.
house? It seemed like they looked familiar
Because
to
he was a
Yeah.
me.
good guy
Yeah,
too.
they,
Yeah,
But
I
I
was
didn't,
like,
yeah,
Similarity.
different. It
did
was
they
different
just,
people. It was different
yeah,
people.
but
Yeah.
I believe they reminded her
Yeah.
of them, you
Yeah.
know.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
It
we
was
we see how they show so much trauma. They show so many horrors that black people went through at that
Yeah.
time in
Yeah.
so many different ways. Your neighborhood, your job, well, how you discriminated against us, and it builds up.
right.
The
Yeah.
job, the supervisor at the job, the
Yeah.
daughters at the school,
Yeah.
um, the mother in the neighborhood, as well as at the asylum, as well as when they were in North Carolina,
Yeah.
in
Mm-hmm.
different ways. These people, and that's where this is where they don't get to connect. You
Mm-hmm.
left a
Mm-hmm.
place where you were, your own people come from. You
Mm-hmm.
were treated just like how you treat these black people. And then
Mm-hmm.
you wonder, and then you say stuff like, well, go back home to this. I was like, I didn't, I was like, this ain't it was never my people's choice to come here.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Then it's also, you left something and you came over here to do a certain thing, and then you just put people into the same thing, which we saw in the 9th episode with the pastor. They up there
Mm-hmm.
trying to get the land right. You
Yeah.
come in
Mm-hmm.
here, you have a little bit of a what they call it, being you discriminating. It
Mm-hmm.
wasn't even racism. You just discriminating, and then what
Did
happens
y'all
is
catch how
you
he
start
used
doing the
that
crazy stuff.
word? Did you catch how he used the word to try to say that they belong enslaved, that they belong to them?
Exactly. And then
oh
you
Did you
see,
yeah,
catch
that's
that?
a true fact too.
right,
Like
and
all
then
of
you
that
Yeah.
shit.
and then you
Yeah.
use something that's spiritual, which they
Mm-hmm.
always take something spiritual and then
Mm-hmm.
twist it around, make it to where, and then that's why you think, our people can't believe in this certain thing, and it's not even
Mm-hmm.
like what it says when it says in that book is not what you think it is, and I'm like, you can use that to warp everything, and then just because you're getting, out in the sun too long. That
Yeah,
black
the biggest
that
thing
the
is
black man,
of
here we go again. The black man and woman help save y'all again out in the wilderness.
Mm-hmm.
We always, I'm telling you, what I learned in school was one of my teachers said that even in the stories, black people always saving white folks, and it's still true to this day. It's
Mm-hmm.
still true. We in the most
You heard
crazy
him
stuff.
call him lazy. First of
now,
all, he
I still
filed
think
this
that.
well for y'all.
Yeah.
Second
yeah,
of all, go ahead. Go
No,
ahead,
he didn't
Tanya.
find a well. He just said keep
I mean, he
digging.
found the
They was about to
area.
give up. Yeah, they about
I
to give
know. I'm
up.
saying he
oh, okay, I
found the
see.
area.
Yeah, they about to
They
Yeah,
give
but
up.
they
didn't.
called them demonic for
Right.
finding the water.
Exactly.
Like,
That's what they
even we
do.
never found the water.
If
Yeah.
they,
And then if
and,
you
Yeah,
wouldn't have
And
found
then
it, then
talking
that'd
about
have been something.
and that's what I'm
laziness.
talking about.
How
That's
lazy
what.
can you be?
Yeah.
What you mean? How lazy can he be? He is the one going to get these bricks, bringing them over
Yeah.
here. Then your funky behind sitting there
Okay.
doing nothing, gonna
Well.
say, "Oh,
Well.
how lazy can you be? Now you need to lay the brick." Are you
Yeah.
kidding me?
Then
Who
Yeah.
they
built America?
then they
Who
wanted to
for
have
real
a.
built it?
I know
Who
y'all,
for
and,
real
and I
built
know
it?
as women, y'all can see like the little nail
All
shop
right, I gotta stop.
situation. The nail shop
I'm
situation.
down.
Y'all see where the women were talking to the black woman, and then they start talking in their
Yeah.
native language, talking
Oh,
about her, and she
Yeah.
peeped it already. She was just like, okay,
Yeah.
but
yeah.
I did like how the black
Yeah.
woman,
she was a bad
like,
mamma
I
jamma
like
herself.
how the husband.
Mhm.
This is just being honorable. We gonna go work because you help.
Mm.
You said you gonna help us. We're
Right.
living up to what you said. Thanks for the hospitality, for keeping us, safe and
Yeah.
alive around here. But then the wife said, "When you gonna fix our cart? You said something about it. We've been
Right.
doing all this other stuff for you without even." No,
Yeah.
Right.
y'all haven't even
Yeah.
made the effort, and then you question me, and that's what I'm talking about. You don't hold your end of the bargain. And then you got this type of stuff, and then you see what happened to our people in all these stories, and it is a triggering thing. It's a lot of things in here that actually just got me turned because I stood up a couple of times. I had to watch scenes because I had to stand up because I was triggered.
I guess I'm desensitized.
No, I'm not desensitized.
I didn't know. I am because I was like, I was like, hey,
the
this
reason
is
why
like
I'm not desensitized is because those things still happen. They just look different in 2021. It's still the same stuff. It just looks different in 21. I get tired of helping somebody, and then you take the praise, get all the credit, and I'm just looking like, oh, you just a helper. I said, I figured I'm like the husband. This is my project. Are you taking away taking me off my project? And then saying thank you. You should be feeling grateful because you're still one of the highest paid Negroes in the company.
Yeah, you're the highest paid Negro I know.
What?
What else you want?
Your job. That's what I want.
Some Fagos, though, guys. Let's get some Fagos because I know Kanik.
No, I don't gotta go no more.
Oh, you good?
They finished. I just got a text. So
okay, all right. Good. So let's give it some Fagos. Let's go, Latrice. I know you turned up over this.
I know it's so crazy and it's so all over the place. You gotta digest.
You can give
5. I'm gonna give it 4.5. Because I mean I can't say that I've seen something put together like this. I kind of have because I felt like it had the feeling of Us a little bit. The movie Us.
Yeah.
What's his name?
And my thing about that, I'm sorry to interrupt. It seemed like in my viewing, it seems like it's harder for a dark-skinned actor to get a role.
And they were British too.
Oh,
that's what I found out afterwards. I didn't know
their fucking accents. I was like, it was so annoying me. I was like, what's up with the? I bet you they from Britain.
Yeah, but I'm like, now why is it all the black horror movies? Everybody got to be dark skinned, like.
Well, you saw what happened to the lady. She went to visit. She was a light-skinned sister. She
and I was like, okay, little light-skinned.
She killed her family.
I was like, is it something to that?
They say so they say light-skinned women.
Yeah, but okay, look also at this. Look also at this. When they moved in the neighborhood, and they got 2 kids or Jungle Bunny, whatever they call the kids, and then they got one. I don't know her age. Somewhere between 8 and 30 or something like that, or whatever he said. I'm like, it's true,
and that's one of the hidden things that they do say about black females.
That you look at a young black girl, she can be 12, she can be 8. For whatever reason, you want to believe that they are grown up or adult like, and they're not as innocent as any other, like a white girl. So they had studies out that show how, like in schools, I forgot where I was reading this. In schools, 2 girls, same age, one of them black, one of them white, doing the same thing, or the white kid doing something way worse, and they like, oh, it's okay, it's all right, you just, it just happened like that. And the black kid is being reprimanded, for something lesser, doing something less bad, so to speak, than the white girl did. It's just like, stop. Just stop. Okay? Stop killing us. Stop treating us like we're wild animals in the streets. Stop acting like we're not human and from the same earth that you are walking on. Stop acting like you're smarter, because you're not. Stop acting like you're better, because you're not. Stop wanting everything that we have that's creative, but you don't want to be bothered with us. But you want to take everything.
Yeah,
but you don't want to be bothered with us.
I think that's it. I think it is to show the monster.
It did.
The monster.
It did. And
that time was, and that they were. I think it's a good reflection, because, of course, it's trauma-inducing for us to watch.
Right.
But I also think we should think about, is it trauma inducing for white people to watch,
I
or
wonder.
people in power, and how they feel about that? Because I'm sure the things that they were saying, they've heard their grandma or grandfathers or
Mm-hmm.
parents say, or
Mm-hmm.
uncles or aunties, or all those people say. So, I think it's important to make these pieces,
Mm-hmm.
because it's not just us that's experiencing the trauma.
Mm-hmm.
They should also be sharing in this trauma, and hopefully their hearts should be breaking as well,
Mm-hmm.
chains, and mirroring it against what's happening in the world still today, and
Mm-hmm.
realizing that,
Yeah.
50 years ago was just yesterday.
And the Bettys of the world, her name's Betty, right?
Yeah.
Betty
Is
Allen.
is now the what's they call her?
No, Betty is
Oh,
Karen.
Karen.
Karen, yeah.
Betty is Karen's grandma. That's all that is.
Yeah,
That's all
Betty
Yeah.
she
is
is.
Karen's grandma, and
She
Betty
she a
got
grandma. That's all it
exactly
is.
what she deserved. Okay,
I don't
she got
understand that
exactly what
storyline
she
though.
asked
I
for.
don't
Well,
quite understand it. Probably because I came in on episode
But
10,
see,
yeah.
and
what was
she
crazy,
just
what
got
was
tired.
crazy about that, Betty was like going to him after she got the dog crap slapped out of her. Oh, remember when I said that I might need you for something and that? And he like, yeah, okay. She thinking he gonna go out and
Yeah,
avenge
kill
her.
him.
Yeah.
No, that
Yeah.
dude wanted you to himself, and you didn't set up and got locked in a doggone
Yeah.
cellar.
Which they could
Then
have, yeah, they could have. I mean, but you know what? Anybody watching this story kind of be like, well,
Yeah.
right, right.
I don't know
It's
what to
like,
say, but hey,
yeah. It's
good,
like peeling
good
the
luck.
onion,
Yeah.
the
Uh-huh.
monster, the
Yeah.
layers of the
The
monster.
So
monster,
yeah,
man.
those
Because
type of
that
things.
guy he looked nice and sweet
Yeah.
guy,
So
He's the milkman. He's
Bringing
so
the
nice.
milk.
so like
He
what y'all
said
were
the
saying.
milkman
So,
got
so
it
like what y'all were
in.
saying. So what y'all were saying about the like these different things when we show this stuff, how to the other side look at it, and I'm like, you know what?
I really want to know.
I don't really. It's like a part where it's like I don't care no more because you don't. I don't see no strides. I just know people got people of other cultures are friends now, but
Mm-hmm.
I don't see strides because I'm like you don't care. And
Mm-hmm.
it's like for me, it's hard for me to actually be
Mm-hmm.
a certain culture's friend. I'm not trying to be their enemy, but I'm not. You have too much. You talk the
Mm-hmm.
same way. It's
Mm-hmm.
just a whole bunch of layers of PC stuff, or you'll talk
Bless you.
around. You're gonna put it into well, don't you still got a condescending attitude. You still have this thing of whatever. You still have these things. Redlining may be redlining is still around. It's just changed the way it just looks different.
Mm-hmm.
Medicine. Opioids have been a problem in our community so long. Now it's a problem in somebody else's community, and it's a big thing now. So I'm
Now
like, man,
it's
I don't care
been a
about.
problem in their community.
Yeah, but
They
I'm
just
saying,
don't.
what happened was it affected the children. That's what the thing was. It wasn't that it affected the adults. When it
You
started
know
hitting their
what?
children,
Yeah,
that became a big
but you
story.
know
I
what
don't
Or
know.
the
though?
I
young
don't know.
people.
It's been around for a
My
long time.
chi- my
Yeah.
older
So
kids,
I'm
well,
like,
and
I'm like,
younger,
okay, I'm like,
they went to a predominantly white school.
Yeah.
And you know who had all the drugs? You
we
know who
know
always had the drugs?
they always got
The
something.
white kids. You
Yeah.
know who always had the drugs? Who always had something to get high, to do this, to do that? It was
Whatever.
them. It was
But,
them.
but that's what I'm saying. Like when you have, that's why when you have,
Tanya,
like,
I don't even know how you're gonna be able to air this. Oh, it's too late. We live.
but what I'm saying,
It's live.
this is
It
what
is
I,
what it
this
is.
is what I'm saying though. This story is why there's other things that wasn't like the stuff that we see. Like I'm at the point now in 2021. I'm tired of seeing racism. I'm like that happened, and
Right.
and you know what? It's not,
Over it.
and I don't believe to me it's not going to change. It's going to be a different way, and I'm gonna
You
get
know,
whatever. So
I
whatever it
think
is, I don't care
marketing.
anymore. I say when you make a story, either
Yeah.
what compels me. We need if you're gonna compel
It's
me with a
marketing.
story. Make something that's
Yeah.
fantasy and black people are in it, and we're doing
Yeah.
the same stuff that white people doing in their fantasy stories,
Exactly.
or we're gonna make some real horror where black people actually do the spirit of black people, the ones that was in them boats and got thrown over, the ones that died with the Native Americans and other cultures, come back as the Walking Dead or spirits, and they do something to the higher archy of people that they think they are. That's interesting to me.
But think
I may
about
not go see it, but I may watch I might watch something of it. I'm like, ooh, this is a whole lot. But you know what? I do think somebody's onto something. Make something different. I'm tired of seeing them same pieces. We just had what's her name? shout out to the I was about to say Sojourner Truth, but the other one.
Lovecraft.
um,
Mahalia?
no, she helped the people get to the underground. I'm forgetting her
Oh,
name right
Oh,
now.
Harriet
Harriet.
Tubman.
Yeah, we already had that. They won an award for the 12 Years a Slave. I'm tired of
We
seeing this
did
stuff.
have Django.
No,
I'm
but
tired of seeing stuff like that.
even with
I'm tired of
the
seeing this stuff. I'm 20. I'm about to hit 4 decades soon. I'm tired of seeing my people in this. They keep coming up with 2 or 3 movies every year. I don't need to see that no more. We done read, I done seen it. There's other stuff. There's old stuff that's crazy. My boy was telling me last 2 years ago about, and I will check out one day. But I want to see something where I'm like, oh, I want to see something where it's different. Like
Yeah.
I said, black
Okay.
fantasy is
So
the
you
new
like,
thing. Black
y'all
fantasy needs to
hate
come
us.
out.
We get it.
Yeah.
Move on.
Yeah, and then and what happens is, and you give black people awards, or you give the director awards for making something that's like y'all said. What did y'all say?
Right.
Traumatizing, horror porn, it's the things that trigger people. It's people out there that can't even watch this. It's people.
T Money.
It's too
Yeah,
many
you're
people
right.
that can't watch this. So I'm like,
You're
Yeah,
right.
but it's horror.
yeah,
T
it
Money.
is horror, but
Horror that
if
people
people,
can't watch. So
but then it's stuff that people went through. There's like I said, I have talked. I never had to experience some of the stuff in this movie, but when you talk to people that you're close to, and they've been traumatized, and they need to talk to somebody. Their mental health is in jeopardy, or they're dealing
yeah,
with some things. I can understand some things that come from
yeah,
the women's side. I actually talk to women. I know some, and that watching that and being told that story, it's real, and
yeah.
it's heartbreaking.
Sounds like we
You
need
know?
a balance.
And
Yeah,
then what happens is, and then when I listen to stuff, and then this is a side note, when you listen to things where our women feel they don't feel protected, um, and I can understand why because of things like this, but there's also things in our own culture, so it's kind of it's something that hits me mentally as well as in emotion as well as um in the spirit way too, where I was like I can't ever sit by when I see something wrong and it's a woman. I can't do it. I just can't do it. And I just won't, and I can't. And I've heard too much, seen too much, and I felt too much, and I've actually had dreams about some stuff. So I was like, So that part bothered me, and I was wondering what happened when you find out, because I was like, I kept saying, even in our text, what happened to Chester? What
Mm-hmm.
happened to Chester? And when I
Mm-hmm.
saw what happened to Chester, you felt it hurt to see another, not even a baby get harmed, but then his mother get harmed. That actually was something that was I had to
Mm-hmm.
stand up. I couldn't even stay relaxed while I watched it. I had to stand up because every time there's something like that in a movie, I have to. It's like I'm standing up. It's like my physical self has to be on guard. I don't know why. I just have to
And
stand up. Everything
so
puffs up. Everything puffs up. It's just like that.
if you were to categorize this type of horror,
Yeah.
because you have all these, you have gore, gory horror, thriller horror. Is this a new category? Do you think it's black horror? Do you think it's, you know, like would it be trauma horror? How would you
I feel like
characterize
it's new.
this
Are you
stuff?
talking just to Sticks or to all of us?
She's
Because
saying everybody.
Oh,
It's
oh,
for everybody.
okay.
yeah.
It's for
I
everybody.
mean, I feel like it's kind of a new thing because to me it mixed that paranormal with some of the gore, some of the other stuff. Like it mixed it. So I'm like I kind of feel like I haven't seen anything like that. Now I was gonna ask you as a filmmaker, how do you think they did as far as bringing the story together and like how they put it together, the storylines and how it flowed. I don't know, like how do you feel that they did overall, like for the
Yeah.
I'm talking to you, Jones.
Yeah. Well, I guess this is when I'll give my Fagos at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll probably give it about 3.5.
Mhm.
Um, I looked at the director. One of the director's names came up twice. It was Ty West, and he did
Mhm. Mhm.
House of the Devil, and a lot of movies that we've seen kind of throughout the history of horror in the last 10 or 15 years. And this is definitely kind of his genre and his style. It's this kind of in your face, the devil is there,
Mhm.
and he's sneaking and creeping behind and getting into the psyche. But also, like the spiritual devil is being ascended, from rituals and so forth. So when I started to kind of think about him, and the person who's the kind of the executive producer, who Lena Waithe is one of them, but I think the showrunner is a mixed Asian Black guy. And I don't know a lot of his shows.
There was like a Little Marvin.
Little Marvin, yeah, that's what it was.
Little Marvin. Did anybody watch some of the after show? Like it was they had these.
The clippets, the kind of extra material.
I forgot to.
I
forgot to watch
it. I watched a little bit, and I think it was that Little Marvin guy that was on.
Yeah, he seems to be really exciting. I think he has a little. I mean, I think he's probably been in the industry, but his shows. He's. To answer your question,
you said 3.5, 3.5.
3.5, yeah, because there are some continuity issues.
That
I saw that I was like, so I didn't, and I definitely didn't think they were on purpose. But a lot of people were complaining about the lighting. I know you asked me about story, but people were complaining about
the whole thing. Yeah.
But I think also, like, from that very first, I actually started watching the first episode again and just kind of scrubbing without sound, and the lighting was really beautiful. But I think the more they went into this, of course, California is supposed to be a sunny place. They were being drowned more in the shadows and in the dark. So I do think that kind of had a nice through line that went along with the storytelling, right? So I think that kind of, but then there are things like in the episode where they started to beat the daddy up, and the first few minutes he didn't have this swollen ass eye, and then the next shot it was swollen. I was like, they didn't even no, and I don't know if they were playing with time,
up.
It was like,
it sure did.
Yeah. So
and then I didn't realize, just like you said earlier, Jones, you said you was like, she didn't get a chance to even grieve before they had moved, because I didn't realize the girls were the ages that they are now.
Yeah.
And the little baby. And I was like, that was just like a week ago or
something. Week ago.
Low key, y'all doing better than me, because when the woman approached that house singing that song, messing with Sergeant, and then she said something about the baby, I literally thought that was a memory. No, I thought that was a dream. Also,
me too.
You know what? I'm gonna tell you what I really thought it was. I thought it was her life, the wife's, when she was younger and she lost a brother. That was her brother. I thought I didn't even put it together. That's how quick it went. And I didn't even peep that it was her, because her hair was different, and I just didn't peep that it was her. I just thought it was like a part of her family, or I'm gonna tell you this: what was to come. I didn't know they was going to California. What was to come? I was like, she's seen something in the future, and then I'm looking like, oh, this is a memory. Oh Lord,
she was unstable. They both had mental. They deal with mental health, mental issues.
And that pie, when she puts that pie in front of him, when we had just saw that
was
memory,
messed up. That was messed up.
She said, "Eat your pie, Annie Mae." You know what I'm saying? I'm suffering just like you suffering.
That was messed up.
And then what happens is, when you try to spark that response out of your man, you're scared at the reaction.
Yeah.
You remember because you remember what happened when he came home from the war. He told you what mustard seeds smells like. You think it would smell like, no, it's sweet. Yeah. And you see, he triggered that man.
And he put her in a sweet situation. He did the same thing to her that was done to him. Let's go fix it. Let's go get a sparkling new house.
How did you guys like? Of the demons, which was your favorite? I think that Bojangles guy.
Yeah, he was the favorite. Because he was the favorite. To me,
he was so crazy.
It made sense what he was talking about. No. It made sense. It made sense what he was until the end. I'm like, oh, it was other reverse blackface. Oh, no.
Real blackface.
It was reverse. I call it reverse. That's what I call it.
I was expecting when he wiped that blackface off that he was going to see himself.
I thought the same thing. I thought the same thing. I thought it
was him playing that character, I believe, the whole time. I do think that.
No, it's another guy, because
it was another guy playing the character.
He talked about
what you gonna do?
Teeth all out.
And
What
the
was
way
the
he was
song?
drinking that beer, like,
What was the song he was singing?
spilling
What you
off.
gonna do, Mister?
Yeah. What you gonna
What you gonna
do?
do?
Yeah. What you got? Oh,
Sit your, how you do it?
yeah. It was
His
definitely.
Sit your butt down, Mister So and So. I couldn't finish watching the first
Mr.
episode.
Henry.
See,
Yeah.
yeah.
I couldn't finish watching the
And that's
first
what it is.
episode.
Low key, you know what that reminds me of? What she just said, her comment. That reminds me of the Walking Dead. Shout out to the Walking Dead when it was really very good. On the first
Yes.
episode, they
Glenn?
said this. They said that the Walking Dead. They said this at the first end when they showed the scene of the sheriff and he saw that little girl with her bunny and he popped her. He shot her in the head.
Yeah,
He got
I
rid
was
of everybody who was.
I never watched it.
It
Right.
got everybody. It got rid of
Yeah.
everybody who was a little shaky
But
about
it's-
stuff. We don't watch
Yeah.
If
it.
they could get
Get rid
past
of it.
that,
Get out of
Walking
here.
Yeah.
I
Dead
couldn't
was
get
great.
This ain't for you. This ain't for
And
you. If you
that's
can't
it.
watch. If you
That's
can't
what
watch a
this-
little zombie
That's
child
it,
get shot.
right here.
Get up
That's
outta
it.
here.
That's
Yeah.
what this is. That's why I asked, like, what is this genre? Because
Yeah.
they gonna get you because you black, right?
Right.
So they kind of got this built-in thing. Okay,
Right,
like
right.
you black, so you gonna watch this the new black show.
Right.
Right.
But now we're gonna get rid of you if you can't, and not even you're gonna get rid of yourself. You're gonna say, all right, this is not my genre. But somebody is gonna stay and watch it and
Mhm.
explore it. And of course, I know everybody has their biases about white people and everything, but they're an audience. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's what it's about. It's about me keeping and grabbing your attention so that I can continue to take you down this avenue of thinking or this nightmare.
I can see some white people maybe feeling like if they watch that, like, no, this is over exaggerated. I'm sure they wasn't doing like this. Come on now. Come on now.
We got
And that's
we got
people saying being a zombie is not gonna come to truth. Everybody's like, if you take the vaccine,
I believe in
you take
aliens.
that vaccine,
I
though.
believe in aliens. I believe in zombies. And don't even get me started on that vaccine. I can't even start. They will not air this. Okay, they'll be like information being spewed. So I'm not gonna go there.
but
You know what I'm saying?
that's what it is. I don't understand why they can't.
I'm not gonna go there.
I don't understand why you can't believe it because you have history and there's pictures of you literally doing things to black people and you're smiling.
Right.
Having a whole
that's-
parade, having a great time at a
And did
expense of a
y'all
dead person
notice-
hanging there. So
But that was
the
them,
preachers.
you know?
yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about.
When
They burn those
when
people.
they burned them, they hung them upside down. Like what kind of sadistic?
but you
like
know,
what kind of?
you know what that is? That's
I'm muting everybody so I can say something. I'm sorry, y'all. Because y'all won't let me talk. Y'all won't let me talk. So the question was, what genre is this, right? And I'm calling it a new genre of black horror because that's the only reason why Tanya is watching. I'm not a big horror fan at all, period.
Mhm.
But when you put black into it, I'm watching. So me watching this, it kind of dispels some myths I had about if black people were to do horror. Okay, so did you guys all see? It was just a random guy. I don't know if he was on Instagram, Facebook. I posted it in our group where he was like white people running in horror movies, and he had the knife, and he was getting chased all around the house. Did you guys see that? You saw it? Did you laughed at it, Latrice?
I did.
But anyway, there was a comedian guy. It was like the POV view, and you just saw the knife coming at this guy. He was like, "This is how white people be," and he's just running around the house. And he goes to the front door. He closes the front door. He runs. He washes the dishes. He makes the sandwich.
Okay.
And I was like, "See, black people, it's over." So there's no way if this was genuine, what I thought in my mind what black horror would be. After that girl got strangled by Mrs. Whoever, the house
we out.
They were gone.
my bro.
Yeah.
As soon as we hear,
No. When the dog was dead, I'm like, hold on.
And
the dog got killed in the house. The dog got killed in the house.
Was dead.
Yeah, they should have did that to Sergeant.
Did y'all see the only? Did you see the only thing?
when it say no Negro blood on the contract.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like that's it. You sign, you kind of signing.
My girl was in this and I didn't realize it. Noni, what's her name? Noni,
yes.
I like her.
Yes,
I like her.
Yeah, when she did to her husband and her children.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
He's sitting there like
he up there looking like
I can't even talk.
But
I can't even talk, but I was hungry.
Yeah.
These actors were amazing to me. Like
yeah.
I feel like, wow, where have they been hiding or whatever? Just the little girl. I'm like, look at this little girl.
They're around. They just don't get put in anything. They don't get put in anything that we can,
Well, they from London, so they might have been in some stuff.
We just haven't seen it.
Yeah, two of them were, and we saw the other girl and us.
Do y'all think the reason why, like, it seemed like Black people not into horror like that, even though there are a lot that are, like my sister, she love horror movies, all things horror. No, I'm about to say.
There's a lot of people. I know a lot of people that's into,
I'm just saying.
I know a lot of people that's into horror.
Because mainly it seems like we've come up in the church and we have like a spiritual, and then it's always been like, look, we don't fool around, don't mess around with that. And I agree to a level, to a certain extent, don't mess around with that. Do you think that's why like Black people haven't really come out with like horror, things like that, movies like that? And plus, like you said, look, like you said,
we talking about
the first
you're talking about a demographic now.
Out the way.
You're talking about a demographic of Black people now.
Yeah,
you're talking about older Blacks. Younger
Are
Blacks.
you talking about why Black horror hasn't been made?
Yeah, why
I feel
it hasn't
like that's
been
just
made
the Hollywood machine. Like Hollywood machine didn't really allow to make Black horror.
But we didn't make it.
Like if you were Black and in the horror, you literally got killed first. Period.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, so it's like,
you are to the question now. You are to the question now.
It has to be a new genre. It has to be a whole new thing. Just like you said.
But you got to think about other stuff. There has been horror movies. They've been whack. You got to go back to the 60s and 70s.
Yeah,
but they were always.
But they were Black.
Comedic undertone. Vampires and
they just didn't get the budget. They didn't get the budgets.
Yeah.
You said what, Ty?
Vampires in Brooklyn had a comedic undertone, like to it. What was it? Dracula with Eddie Murphy. What was that one Eddie Murphy did?
That's
like everything was kind of
Vampire in Brooklyn.
That's the Vampire in Brooklyn.
Scary.
Yeah.
No, that was not scary at all. I'm talking.
Blessed it was horror. I mean, what that's the one with
Beloved.
Beloved.
And that was disturbing to me. But again, it was kind of reality because it went back in slavery.
Yes.
What would you do to keep your kids from having to suffer at the hands? She said this was her.
And you guys are talking about. You guys are talking about right now. You guys are talking about the mainstream stuff because there's this movie I want to see and I heard it's messed up. It's called either Mandingo or something, and they be like burning Black people and breeding Black people.
I'm talking about.
It still would be considered some weird stuff. I don't know if you would say horror, but to us it might be like, dude, that's crazy. It was weird. It might be thriller. But we have the closest thing we've had to maybe thrillers. We've had thrillers with the Black.
Yeah, we had thrillers.
But the horror, you are right, because I still look at even though it's a thriller, the one that came out a couple of years ago where the brother had the white girlfriend and then he went up there and he got
Get Out.
Yeah,
I love to Get Out.
Now, see, Get Out.
I watched it so many times.
The way they promoted Get Out, it seemed like it was going to be horror, but it was more thriller because it had a gore to it, but it wasn't as crazy.
It won under the category, I think, of a comedy or something.
Comedy?
Yes, it did. Yeah, yes, it did. Look it up.
Fun. The only person was cracking jokes.
Look it up.
I think that year, though, I do.
That was the thing. That was the big issue of it because they had it under comedy. Yes. Look it up.
Would you say Ease Bayou? What's Ease Bayou?
That's
probably
not
a thriller.
Really, that wasn't a horror. Horror to me, like I told y'all, it's like it's Jason them, all of that.
No, so what about Tales from the Hood? When the Black one,
Tales from the Hood.
No, not Tales from the Hood.
What about Candyman?
Yeah,
Oh,
no. The
Candyman
black one, the
definitely.
one where those three
Yeah.
guys went into
Black lead horror.
they went to the mortuary
Yeah.
and that they ran into the black funeral director and he had all those stories for those dead people in that
That was
room.
Tales from the Hood.
I
Yeah,
was Tales from the Hood.
what is that to y'all? What is that to y'all?
That's
That's
under
comedy.
comedy. So.
That's
So what,
more comedy.
Because you know we like shucking and jiving, boss.
But
So how
but
many
you know what?
Fagos?
It was kind of horror. It was horror, but
It,
you know,
it
it was
was.
more because it was because they always had a funny host.
Yeah, it wasn't
The
Snoop
keeper
Dogg
was
on there?
always kind of no, not Snoop Dogg. Dog. It was the father from Purple Rain, which I
Yeah,
love.
he was the one that was like,
Yeah.
yeah, that was,
that's what I'm talking about. So we've like I said, we've had
that
these
was funny.
things. We like you said, now there may be more defining black horror, but black horror has been there.
And we
Well,
getting
they
bigger
put us,
budgets.
but as
You're
Trixie
right.
said,
But
they have put it into comedy, suspense. It's always been something of
Yeah.
it.
Or we
People,
have low budget.
A
and-
blend,
yeah,
a
Mhm.
blend of something.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I get a lot of people that say review my movie is horror, from black people or whatever. But it doesn't really. I don't want to say it doesn't count. It's just not a big budget, big budgeted film.
Right.
So now they're throwing money at
Mhm.
a leading cast that's black people,
Mhm.
and it's a movie
But
meant to entertain by way of scaring you.
maybe because black
Oh,
people
yeah,
just don't
that
get
is
down like that. Like we don't go trying to see what that noise was. We
Yeah,
don't go
Blackula.
trying to
Yeah,
figure
Blackula.
out
Yeah, that
let
was
me
the
look
one with
under
Eddie
the bed
Murphy.
and see if it's under
No, Blackula
no.
1972.
That's what I was
Oh,
saying.
I
That's what I
haven't seen
said.
that.
Yeah.
That's what I said. I
I
said
said
Blackula.
Blackula.
I said Blackula.
Yeah.
That was one of the.
Oh, yeah.
You got to go
So I
original.
don't know. Like that's where the whole Kanye went. Shout out to Kanye.
You watch it?
Yeezy.
Black. I know you watching Kanye.
We know you
Hope you
watching,
doing
man.
all right.
You don't want to make no
She left you, but
comment.
there's someone better.
Yeah, they got East Bayou
Come on back.
anymore.
Come
I
on
think
back
it
to your
was.
piece.
Yeah, Eve's Bayou was. I watched that several times, but I never was comfortable with Eve's Bayou.
I didn't think
That's
it
just
was
how I am.
horror. I just thought it was.
It's kind of like spiritual kind of horror.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
like
I guess
Now,
so.
that's
a
what we
dark
do.
magic.
That's
It
what
was
we do. We don't.
disturbing.
We haven't ventured to like horror gore. We do it horror, fantasy, horror, sci-fi. That's what we
More
get into.
Yeah,
psychological.
horror
But
gore
you know
has
why?
still not really
But I
happened.
think that's
Yeah.
because of the whole black. What our history is on here in this country. We've seen the horrors. We heard of
Shoot,
them.
just watch Crime in the D.
No, but I'm saying.
We'll find a lot.
But you know what I'm saying? We ain't. It's not about the horror. We don't care. Like we seen gore. Look, people seen gore. Let's just say that our own people have seen gore. So that's not it. We like the story where it's like, dang, that's messed up, and it's more of a spiritual side. It's physical, but then it's a spiritual. Like, dang, that really it looked bad, but
It always hits home in
felt
some
bad
way.
too. And I was like, I went away feeling like, ooh, they didn't have to kill. Like in this story right here, dang, they didn't just like tie him up. They burnt their eyes out. They hung him up. They burned him upside down.
Yeah,
And
like,
watched
come
in
on.
glory. And watched in glory and amazement
That's
as they
the
burned.
most, don't you think? Like, come on.
But I'm
And
saying
then-
that's what it is. That's the part of the
The
horror.
fact that they
That's
weren't
horror for
scared
us.
that
That's
she
horror
set
for
that
us.
book on that Bible on fire just by cursing them.
But look at this. But look, that's
Was
horror.
that little boy doing that, or was that her
I
doing that?
wonder. Wasn't he
I
the one
didn't
that
know.
let them out of the stall?
Yes.
Yeah, he let them
Yeah.
out.
And I was like,
just
oh,
for
he's
them to
trying
be
help
killed.
them.
Yeah.
But then the little boy was like the devil or something. So
Yeah,
I
he
don't
was.
know. I will be tuning in to season 2 to
It's a
see
season
where
2?
this goes.
I don't know if I would watch season 2.
The ending was
You
whack
ain't
to
gonna
me.
watch it?
I don't know if I would watch season 2.
Wait,
Yeah, I'm watching
what
it.
else
I'm
can they
watching
be
it to
doing
see
in
where it
season
goes.
2?
You know,
I'm waiting on Lovecraft shit. That's
the
what
cliffhanger.
Bingo. That's what I'm talking about.
The
Lovecraft.
cliffhanger was they beat all their demons on the inside of the house, and then they had to face the demons on the outside of
and
the
what's
house.
the fire.
Yeah, with that
Where the
fire
fire
around,
coming
and
from?
the police were pointing guns at them.
Oh,
So it's like, where
That
are
was-
they gonna go?
At the end, but at the end, once the fire went down, all those people look crazy. They all look like
I don't understand how the fire exists. How did the fire start? Who had the power to make the fire? Those were the things that started getting on my goddamn nerve.
Right.
Fire coming from.
that's stuff. I'm like, because I mean, I don't know. Like I
All
said,
symbols.
How many
All
Fagos
symbols.
sticks? We about to hit an hour. How many Fagos?
I'm gonna go with for me. It kept me wanting to keep more. So I'm gonna say definitely 4. It was a 4 for me because I was intrigued. I wanted to keep, me and Trixie were
Up
talking
there,
back and forth.
keep
We
watching.
kept watching. I caught
Yeah.
up with
2
I
in the
caught up
morning,
with
I had to
her.
get up for work.
Right. I caught up with her, and I was just like, I told her what's up, and I said, you ain't gonna like the ending because I think they just kind of like said this is what we're gonna give you. I'm
Put
like,
some
Right.
fire around the house.
yeah, because I'm gonna say
Right.
like you said, when you say season 2, it's gonna be like a lot of stories. You ended it one way, and then we kind of understand during that time what could happen if you're black in a white neighborhood. So I'm like,
hmm
but then you triumph over
And
some
yeah,
whatever,
To
man.
it's
desegregate the
crazy that it was
neighborhood.
But
Compton.
that's still
Look
like
at
what that's
Compton
still
now.
30 some years later. That's still almost
Yeah,
30
Now
years
Compton
we're
later.
going
is.
to like each decade, like August
Yeah.
Wilson. Like now we're gonna do the 60s. Now
Yeah.
we're gonna
Did
do
you,
the 70s.
Right.
did you rate it, Trixie? How many?
I said 4.5 because, like, I'm like Sticks. It kept me watching. Like, I watched episode after. I was like, okay, only one more. That's it. Only one
Yeah,
more.
me too.
And usually, I don't watch stuff like this before I'm going to bed because I dream a lot, and so I watched it. But then I had to turn TV on something else, and I had to get my mind right and together before I can go to sleep. But I didn't dream about it, which I thank God for that. But I thought it was good. I thought they opened up to a new genre, y'all. Maybe we in a new genre of something, but it was just like so fear. I was just angry a lot throughout it. And I just like, it is still today. And
So
we
that's the trauma thing that
yeah,
people talk about.
it's still today. And then I guess at the end them guns pointed. Look what we facing. Look what we
Yeah.
dealing with.
That's why I was saying. That's why I said I'm sick and tired of
Mhm.
it's there, but I'm sick and tired of racism. I'm like, if you put
Uh,
it in stories, I don't care for it no more. That's old. We need. I want sci-fi fantasy.
You
I
know,
want. I want some outer
So
space.
you want a
Future.
horror movie
Go
that
back
doesn't
in time.
deal with
Go back.
racism at all, but black people are
No,
in
no,
it?
no,
I
no,
don't know if
no,
you
no,
could
no,
ever
no.
separate
I said
two,
this. I said you don't have to make it like that's what they
the
trying to make.
main
It
thing.
ain't the foundation no more. In a story, it don't have to be the
Like
foundation.
my horror movie.
It don't have to be the
Yeah,
foundation.
yeah, now
Racism,
that was
racism,
true.
racism
yeah.
is
I was
racism is what
obsessed
it
with
is.
that
It has evolved in
man.
a certain way, and we are in 2021. Keep on seeing stuff from the 40s and 50s. I don't care no more
So it
because
sounds like it's
you're
trauma horror,
you're a
not
Yeah,
black
but
story
I
horror.
maker.
felt
Maybe
like
it's
You're a
black
black
trauma
you're a
horror.
black story maker.
Maybe
We
that's
are
the
creative.
subgenre.
That's the genre. I didn't
That's
find anything funny in it.
subgenre.
Oh,
Black trauma horror.
Yeah. So I
Mhm.
mean,
see,
and you
even
can
in
do
that,
that
they
without
still
being
trying to make us
racist.
Bojangles.
You can do that without being racist. We seen some triumphs in this movie.
Yeah,
We
it can
seen
be many,
we
many
seen
different
we seen
black
where
genres.
black people can fight their demons
I don't know.
and kill them off. We seen where you can kill a funky
You
cop.
kill a cop.
You can kill a cop. I mean, shoot him dead for real. Boom, he was dead.
Man,
It's in
Bojangles
there.
had him doing
You know what I'm
everything.
saying?
Yeah,
He
he
done
showed
walked
He
me
was
a black
mad.
he
cloud.
walked into his supervisor's house after doing him wrong, taking his
Yeah,
well
he's like,
being away
kill that.
almost.
I thought he was gonna rape the wife.
No,
I did too.
I never
I
had that.
thought he was gonna
I
kill
thought,
her or
Maybe.
something.
no, I never thought he was gonna harm that woman. He was looking for that man, and I thought he was gonna mess with his house.
Well,
I
I hope
thought nobody was.
I
That's
hope
it.
he peed in his toilet and shit
But
on his feet.
I didn't think he was gonna mess with that man's wife. I never thought he was gonna mess with his wife.
No, I didn't. I didn't know how far they were gonna go, but of course it was TV.
Yeah, I mean,
I really
it's
thought
what
that.
white people did to his wife.
Right. I
He
thought that.
could have done that,
I
you
thought
know,
that middle. I
and
thought the
felt like
oldest
it was
daughter.
a revenge.
Yeah,
Mhm.
they left it open. I like the way they shot it because
What
Yeah.
you feel about the
his
oldest
shadow
daughter?
and her
Sticks?
shadow.
I was saying I thought the oldest daughter was in jeopardy when she walked out there in front of them with that paint on. I thought they were gonna harm her for trying, but
They
she
was
was crazy.
shocked. They was like, "What the heck?"
Nah, yeah,
Yeah,
she looked like
what
she
are
messed
you
with her.
doing?
Well, how
And
many
she
bottles
was
do you
doing
give
the
it, Tanya?
chair.
I'm gonna give it a good. I'm gonna give it a good 3.5. I'm gonna give it a good three and
Oh,
a half.
really?
Some things when I think about it, that I was like, like the way they tried with the editing, with the noise, and when he was eating that cake, all the sound effects and this and that. And I don't know if it's like played all the Dutch angles, just with here, with there. And I was like, it's not making it more scary
all of
for
the
me.
poetry that they kept trying to kind of like.
Yeah, and I was like,
well, I hate stuff jumping out. I hate stuff doing all
I mean,
that.
as far as that part, I do get y'all
and
on
the
that.
only really
I
scary
didn't care for the color red. I'm like,
Pearls
they stopped using the color red so much. I'm like,
the only really scary
was
clutch
the
your
first part with
pearls
Miss
part
Vera.
was when the guy hit the wall, and they showed us that in the trailer when he was walking down that hallway, and he was kind of back in the war or something. You guys
Oh
remember
yeah, yeah.
that?
But I wasn't. The most disturbing to me was Miss Vera. I just didn't like her. She reminds
Miss
me. You
Vera,
ever seen a movie called
that was a
Mama?
scary character,
You
Miss
ever seen a
Vera.
movie called
But
Mama?
she didn't do
She
much.
reminded me of her because she was like
she didn't
10
do
feet
much.
tall or something, skinny and
Yeah.
just like in her face. And then she grabbed the little girl neck. Leave that baby alone.
Yeah, I think the scariest part for me was Cat in a Bag.
Yeah.
Oh, that was horrible.
That was the scariest part because, like, you don't like they played it out for a few episodes that you didn't know why she wanted that baby, and it felt like she was so. I actually thought she was maybe affectionate towards the child.
I thought she was gonna raise it, and we was gonna see later that
he was
a black white kid. You know what I'm saying?
Reverse on that. And and then you knew something was off with everybody. Everybody was mentally ill. All those white people were mentally ill.
Thank you.
It's like at that point, it's like, to me, that was the horror of it. Felt kind of Texas Chainsaw massacres, you know.
And see how they touched on those lobotomy, those brain, what are they called? Lobotomy?
We were
experimenting.
That stuff that they tell us in those books that black people actually told us we were experimental. You see how the doctor said she up there played the husband against the wife and told her this. He didn't want to see her, and because the way you acted, and he feels a certain way about you being around the children. And then she tells him that I don't think it's right for you because her.
But they still. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but they still had the characters that weren't all like they didn't represent every white person as an evil person and only concerned about their own selves. Like the husband of the lady that got abducted, he wasn't with it. You know, like, why is you bothering him? Leave him alone. You know, da 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 da.
And the woman, there was a woman in the black and white version. She's she's like, be careful. In the Bible, it says your guests are you should treat your guests, who come to your house.
Oh yeah.
There's only one voice, so I thought that.
It's always the meek voices that don't ever get heard.
Well, guys, I mean, I feel like we can go on and on about it, but I'm gonna wrap it up right here.
We're gonna wrap it up.
I'm tired of getting put on mute. So,
it's been an honor, Miss Jones.
Our
pleasure.
Thank you so much, and please join us again. We would love to. Do you review regular movies or only horror?
Right. You don't have to come in with just horror.
I don't know if I'd have finished the show if I didn't have to.
So you wouldn't have made it?
I don't know.
Yeah. So what? It was tough on you too, then. Like as far
not emotionally, I just wasn't drawn to it. I really just wasn't, and not like it was trauma. Oh, it's so triggering. Not like that. Like I'm down when I watch some really kind of gory shit. So no. It was just kind of I just wasn't interested. I don't know. I think they lost me with a little bit of like when they first enter into LA. They take some stock footage. It feels like from which may of course maybe on purpose, but it just didn't feel fluid. From like 1950s stock footage, like, and I've seen it done nicely. And then they even have like this kind of. It kind of feels like Wizard of Oz, though, and maybe that's on purpose. But it was like cartoonic wide shot of it, and then they enter. It was just. I don't know. There just wasn't fluid. There are moments.
That's what I was getting at. Your filmmaking eye.
She done
opened the cat eyes.
All right, y'all. Make sure you like, subscribe, share, and we'll see you next time.
Okay.
Peace.
Peace.
All right. Peace out.